The following podcast includes multiple spoilers for the movie Frozen 2. If you'd like to continue listening, listener discretion is advised.
Hi, welcome to From the Margins podcast. My name is Violet Knight, and I'm here with my good associate Connor Renfro and co-host. We are the only transgender and bisexual podcast that I can think of that are run by a real sad transgender girl and a real bisexual boy who's also sad. At least to my knowledge, we're the only ones.
I'm very sad.
I'm also very sad.
Why are you sad, Violet?
Well, first of all, I wasn't born cis, and that's one strike against me. 2, I was born in South Carolina. That's another strike against me. 3, I'm also financially in not the best place right now, and I'm using all of my creative energy to make a fucking podcast when I should be looking for a job.
Wow, it's pretty dark.
That's fair, but hey, you're getting to know me really early on. This is characterization. It's character building. It's world building.
Right, we have to get deep in the rich lore.
So let's get deep, Connor. What is your life? What is it about? What are you doing with yourself?
My life. Well, I just graduated with my Master's of Science degree in publishing, a very useful and not fake degree from a very reputable private school. I'm $100,000 in debt. I'm going back to school for another useless degree just to defer those loan repayments. And I tutor children in who have no idea of a number lower than 100, as far as money is concerned.
Damn, that was a lot of identifying information. Are you sure you want to keep all that in?
I didn't say, oh shit, I did say where the kids are located. Alright. So we're going to redact the part.
No worries. So if you heard a beep just a second ago, it's because we actually decided that might have been too much identifying information and we had to back it up a little bit.
Or should I just give my introduction again?
Either way, there's no wrong answer.
All right.
You can give your introduction again and we can just start from there. We'll continue recording on this track, but you can just give your introduction.
Yeah,
again.
So lead me in again.
So Connor, tell us a little bit about yourself. What makes you so sad?
Well, I'm sad because of capitalism.
Ooh, a good place to start.
Yeah. I actually go to therapy 3 times a week. It's more like psychoanalysis than traditional therapy. And we'll be talking a lot about that in later episodes, of course. But I think really deeply, and it causes me great pain. I'm in New York City.
You're a
just
New York
very
sad
sad.
boy.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Wow,
I didn't
I'm
actually
sure
have anything to follow that up with.
everybody listening just hates me already. I'm
hey guys,
the least
here's a
favorite
list
character.
of 10 other podcasts you might want to check out.
Maybe if they see a picture of how beautiful I am, they'll hate me less.
I mean, frankly, it works for me.
Yeah, Violet, make sure in the video part you display a picture of myself.
Alright, I'll put a picture of you on screen right now. Here we go. Bam! There you are for the world to see.
And for those of you who are audio only, you will just have to listen to the soft lilt of my voice to understand how beautiful I am. I'm bisexual and available.
Or we could post a picture of him on Twitter. You could follow our Twitter.
Oh shit, yeah, follow my Twitter, @CNRenfro.
I mean, I was going to suggest them follow the actual From the Margins Twitter, but okay.
Well, I need to plug myself as early as possible, because I am an attention whore, bisexual, and available.
I mean, you did just say you were available, and that is one way to plug yourself.
I haven't felt the touch of a woman in many moons. I'm very cold and lonely.
Now, Connor, what's the difference between being available and being free?
So to answer your question, I'm actually not available. I don't want to talk about this. We're going to redact that. Ask me a different question.
We don't have to talk about this. Fine. All right.
Of the 5 minutes we've recorded, I think 30 seconds of
This
it
is
is
the
useful.
worst fucking podcast in history, okay? Like, this is the equivalent of the podcast Hindenburg, except there weren't two LGBT fuckers driving
Well,
that bitch.
we can't say for sure.
To our knowledge.
We can't say for sure.
I mean, of course we can't say for sure, but at the same time, the important part is we're glad you're listening and we're glad that you're here to join us. This is the inaugural episode of this podcast, and we're going to try to do it on a weekly basis and try to give you updates again on a regular basis. We're going to be uploading to YouTube. We're going to try to figure out how to get it on Spotify. We are a fledgling podcast, but at the same time, we really think that we have something to give to the world, and we're here to try to give it as best as possible.
Yeah, ditto, all of that.
So, speaking of being a new podcast, what is it that we really focus on? A lot of podcasts have themes. Do we have any sort of theme whatsoever?
Well, I believe our mission is to provide relevant cultural commentary on recent news or even timeless topics like Frozen 2.
Ooh, okay. If we're going to have a Frozen 2
Scott
talk,
Pilgrim
I am geared
versus the world. But also, breaking news like the Oscar noms and the Bernie Elizabeth feud. Maybe we won't get into that because I really don't want to tread into that territory.
Aw, but Connor, being on the internet means you're supposed to be hated.
I don't want to get involved in that. Wow, I just say a lot of
fine.
things that
I'll
I instantly
get
have
involved
to put my foot in my mouth. From the Margins, the only podcast where one of the hosts puts his foot in his mouth after every sentence.
Hey, I hope you know that because we're running this as a duo thing, if I jump in, you're coming with me, whether you want to or not.
Jump into what? I mean, if you want to pioneer the discussion of Bernie versus Liz, I'll follow you, but I don't know. I just don't know enough. I don't want to do the research into it. It's too depressing for me.
We don't have to do the research into it. We just have to have an opinion. We're online. We don't have to know what we're talking about to talk about it.
Oh, true. Well, I feel like I want to be a brand that only speaks on things where they're like, we understand what we're saying and we're bringing a lot of nuance to it and understanding and compassion.
Well, that's why I'm also going to be using a lot of qualifiers. It's like, look, here's my understanding. That doesn't mean it's the definite truth.
Leave a comment if you hate my guts.
I want to still give opinions. Leave a comment if you're transphobic or otherwise want me to die.
Right. The only podcast where we allow transphobes to attack our co-host. We welcome it.
I mean, as long as it... Give me your hate. It sustains me, kind of like food. But...
You say that now.
Yeah, since... I know, I do say that now. Cut to 6 months later when I'm, in therapy and I'm crying and I'm like, everybody was just so mean to me online when I put myself out there and said shit about people. I don't know.
Wow, my roommates are in the next room shouting so loudly.
What are they shouting about? Can you actually hear?
No, they're just loud people. Keith has a very strong baritone.
He is a very loud guy. Not loud in a traditional sense, like you said. Baritone is a good word for it because he's just so deep in bass.
Yeah, I mean, he is a professional singer.
I actually forgot that he sung professionally.
Yeah, he's trying to leave his dubious accounting job so he can pursue music full time. He's looking for a producer. Leave a comment if you want to produce my roommate.
I mean, I feel like they would need an audio sample in order to actually commit to that.
We'll leave that for a later episode.
That's fair, because right now we have literally no subscribers. Who knows, you could be the first subscriber to our channel. If we ever get big, you can be like, hey, I was the first. You guys remember me? And we'll be like, possibly, but probably not.
First person to subscribe gets some weird, self-validation affirmation.
Exactly. Not a lot of people get to be the first person on the moon, but you could be the first person on the moon, and you'll be the only one there, and you'll get to talk about it in front of everyone later for the rest of your life.
Yep. DM me if you subscribe, and maybe I'll follow you on Twitter.
That's true. Really, we're at the level that we can do a lot more fan engagement than a lot of bigger channels, because, we're small, we're intimate, we're very familiar, we're a friendly face, just not a very pretty face. Well, I'm not the pretty face.
No, I'm the pretty one for sure.
Connor's the pretty one. I'm the one who talks, and I am, ironically, I don't know, I feel like I'm a little bit more of a loudmouth.
You think you're the loudmouth?
Yeah, because I don't have anything, like, I don't have a pretty face. I gotta bring something. I mean, I can't.
I think
I'm
you
not,
have a pretty face.
Connor, I am like, wow, I actually had a thought and completely dropped it. If you're a thought who also drops their thoughts, leave a comment below.
Drop it like it's thought. Drop it like it's thought.
I'll put it this way. Am I pretty? Maybe to a certain crowd, possibly. But am I down with the thickness? The answer is yes.
The thickness?
Yes,
You're
I am down with
it?
the thickness. Yes, down with the thickness.
All right. I'm not going to ask for elaboration.
Do you not know the song by Disturbed, Down with the Sickness?
Nope.
Well, alright then. That's the joke I was making.
I was
Hit
only
or
a fake
miss.
goth in high school.
Oh, I was a closet goth on top of everything else. I'm just
I was
now
actually
everything-
super popular, but I had a huge victim complex. Or persecution complex is more accurate.
Fair enough. You always thought that people were being mean to you behind your back?
Yeah, I thought everybody hated me, and they actually just like genuinely loved me. It's really strange. I don't know why I thought that way.
The first time I ever met you, I thought, I swore up and down that you hated my actual guts.
Yeah? Do you want to tell our audience about our first meeting?
Sure, that would actually probably be good. Just to explain and give more context into how we met and how this podcast that they're listening to came to be. So, here's what happened. Cut to 2012. Connor and I are both in college. We went to Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Go Eagles. And
Winthrop?
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 Winthorpe?
Winthrop?
I've heard so many people call it Winthorpe, and it makes me cringe every time because it's like it didn't even sound good. We're not like Oglethorpe, which actually has a phoneticism to it. But we both went to Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we took a class that I can only describe as being the most leftist class I can ever describe. As like it, the fact it existed in South Carolina boggles my mind.
I was definitely like liberal identity politics, the SJW class.
It was, and it was run by a professor who I can only describe as being... He strikes me as every... what are they called? Not a career counselor, but guidance counselor. He strikes me as every guidance counselor stereotype that you see in cartoons.
Yeah, like a high school one.
Yes,
though.
he acts like a high school guidance counselor, but he's a college professor. And the class basically taught you a lot of basically I can only describe it as like liberal progressive values, but again, it was in South Carolina, so go figure. But we met in that class because I was sitting in class, and the very first day I have this, dare I say, attractive man sit down next to me who just has the most sour, awful look on his face, and when he speaks, he's a little bit monotone and not giving any eye contact, and he just exuded this radiance of God, I hate you. And
God, I hate you.
And I was just like, shit, what did I do to this person for him to just find me so odious? But I got to know him a little bit over the course of the semester, eventually found out that, wow, that's just actually how he is. He is resting bitch face incarnate. And I mean, you can't deny it. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to try to cough while covering the mic. I'm sorry, everybody listening.
But anyway, we met in class, got to know each other, actually became friends. And during our sophomore year in college, we had the opportunity to sign up with people that we knew for a new residence hall. And we were both in the honors program. We actually didn't sign up together because even though we were friends, we weren't at that level yet where we felt comfortable to even do that. I didn't even, frankly, think of you as an option. But we signed up. I signed up with a mutual friend of ours named Zach, who we will talk about a lot in this podcast over the course of the next few episodes all
Love
the episodes.
That guy.
Love that guy.
I'm in love with that guy. Don't tell him, though.
He's a very unique person, and I can't wait to describe why. He's a trip. Anyway, I signed up with Zach because the odds of getting put in the honors residence hall were much bigger if you signed up with people. And I went to the residence life section of the student services part of the DIG student union, and I filed the paperwork, and I came back a couple weeks later when I found out, hey, you got your residence assignment. And as I was walking to go pick up the paper, who do I see coming out of the student union? It's our dear fucking Connor Renfro. It's our little beaming, glorious piece of light that just...
Oh, so now I'm not odious and resting bitch face?
No, I said you found me odious.
Oh. Okay, but beaming me in this story is not resting bitch face me from when we first met.
Right, I thought you were resting bitch face friend when we first met, and you still kind of, I see why other people would see that, but now I know you enough to know that that's just an anomaly.
It's just my resting face.
It is just your resting face, and God, there's no rest for the bitchy.
Ain't no rest for the bitched.
I was trying to make a money don't grow on trees thing, but I just could not think of anything. I am the caged elephant. I am within and without.
I know why the caged elephant sings.
I know why the caged elephant sings. God damn it.
Back to the story.
So yeah, I see Connor coming out, and Connor's like, Violet. I'm like, what? He's like,
what?
And Connor's like, have you got your roommate assignment yet? And I'm like, no. He said, well, you said, oh, we're room together, so we're actually going to be roommates. I'm like, oh, that's actually going to be really cool. And we proceeded to live with each other for the next 3 years, fell madly in love, and started a podcast and moved to other parts of the country.
The end.
The end. Oscar bait nominations.
But you forgot the best part of the story.
Please tell me, because now I'm worried, because I don't know what the best part is.
It was the night. I don't know what I'm saying. The best part of the story is my perspective.
The best part of the story is waking up with Folgers in your cup, but I'm still interested to hear your side.
You remember it, right?
I remember you told me what happened from your perspective for that story, but I want to know more. Obviously the audience doesn't know.
Okay, yeah, the audience doesn't know anyway. Okay, wait. This is going to be great, though. All right.
All right.
So, it was a 4-person room. We've already talked about Zach, but there was also Kyle. Kyle is the one I signed up with. But what happened was, when we were freshmen, Kyle joined one of the fraternities on campus, and he wanted to live with his brothers, and somehow he and I were acquainted, and we were looking at one room with some guy that we both hated, so then we went behind that guy's back and decided we would live together. We would file together without that guy. But then Kyle was like, well, if we apply with 4 people, that's the best, because these are 4-person rooms. So he brings his frat bros in to the arrangement, and the 4 of us all go to the residence hall center to file our applications, and the 3 of them are at one counter filling out their thing. Now, I hated these other 2 guys. I didn't have a reason to, but I hated them. The resting bitch face comes to me naturally. It comes to me honestly.
It fills me. It's endowed naturally.
They were complete strangers. They were in a frat. Kyle was okay. I love Kyle. I'm in love with Kyle. I'm in love with all of my friends. But these other 2, I didn't know them. I didn't trust them. I didn't want to live with them. So the 3 of them are at this back counter filling out their applications, and I'm at the main counter with the secretary lady, or the clerk, the attendant. Is clerk a slur? Is that classist? Anyway, I don't know why that.
Did you just ask if clerk was a slur?
We're gonna redact that part.
No, I'm leaving that in because I really am curious about where that comment. I mean,
I don't know.
Socioeconomic.
The stewardess.
I think that's more of a slur than clerk.
Right. Like you're not supposed to call flight attendants stewards and stewardesses anymore. But that's beside the point. I'm like ruining the pacing of my own story. So you're gonna have to like Frankenstein this together.
Don't worry, I'm going to have to do a lot of strings for this podcast to be interesting.
So I'm at the desk filling out my application, and I ask the lady behind the desk, "What are the odds that the four of us will get in?" She says, there's been a lot of interest this year, and there's like a lot of factors, and it's not likely that four boys will get, preference. And I asked her, well, Kyle and I are both in the honors program, and I know the fourth floor is dedicated to honor students. And she said, oh, well, if you're honors, it's like almost guaranteed you'll get in, but you have to file separately as honors. And I said, okay. Right. So I changed my application to be an honors application. And then I went to the other guys and I said, hey, I'll take your copies. I'll take your forms. And they're like, oh, thanks, bro. Thanks, dude. Whatever. See you later. Yeah. So I took their forms and I took Kyle's form and I changed it to reflect that he and I were honor students applying together. And I filed them like that. So we were a twosome. You and Zach were a twosome. And the four of us got put together.
So you're telling me that the reason that we're even here together is because you fucking pulled one over on two innocent frat guys just because you just generally didn't like them?
That was just one chapter in my war of attrition against this fraternity, but yes.
Wow. All right, so official statements. The From the Margins podcast is anti-Greek organization, specifically fraternities. I'm kidding.
We are anti-Greek. Also the country Greece.
We are exclusively standing Albanians from now on.
And North Macedonia.
North Macedonia, you're okay. I don't know your politics.
I hope that's not problematic. Now, I don't know anything about Macedonia. We should not stand. We do not stand any nation, any state. We are complete anarchists.
Especially not South Carolina.
Oh.
But, so...
This is a South Carolina hate blog.
This is the South Carolina hate blog. We can say that because we're both from there.
Zach just texted me.
Oh, God. What did he say?
YouTube wanted me to watch death scene from Code Geass.
Wow. Spoilers alert for Code Geass. Didn't know that I was going to have to put that in the first episode of this podcast.
Redact it.
That's going to be the weirdest fucking bleep ever.
Just edit it out.
No, I'm not editing it
Silly
out. It's
goose.
Funny. It's the only funny thing we've fucking said so far. And it didn't even come from us.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Always in my heart.
He's the gayest straight man in comedy. One day he's going to listen to us talking about him, and it's like one day he's going to listen to us talking about him, and it's going to blow his fucking mind. He's going to be like, wow, I was being gossiped about on like the internet for everybody to listen to.
Yes.
Also, I just realized a lot of people don't understand that we're kidding when we say a lot of the jokes we've said so far. The important thing is that we're here to give honest representation, and honest representation means that we have character flaws, and we are going to be crucified on the internet because we're not the best representation for, bi and trans people. We're just trying to make it in this world like everybody else. We're going to get some things wrong. We're going to have some opinions that aren't entirely verified, and we'll do our best to actually qualify those when we know that we're saying on something that we're not 100% sure about. But the important part is we're all here to have a good time and have just a lot of laughs. But I do have one question for you.
Yes.
What are those? I'm kidding. I'm not about to do a what are those.
What are those?
Why did you sound like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo right quick?
Like Zoink Scoob.
Like Zoink Scoops.
What are those?
Yeah, ruse.
No.
That was awful. I'm sorry, everyone, for putting up with this.
So wait, what's your real question?
My real question is, you gave a list of different topics, and I don't know. I know that we've talked about it, but what is your take on Frozen 2? But yeah, let's talk about Frozen 2.
All right. Where to
Go for it.
begin?
I will fill in any details because I've got some.
So I saw it the day it came out. Like, okay, one thing that our listeners need to know about me is that I am obsessed with Frozen. Like, I love it. Two of my birthday parties have been Frozen themed.
And I've not got to go to either of them. I was in Russia during one of
baby.
them, but that's a different story.
And in Denver the other time. These Frozen parties are also the only good parties I've ever thrown in my life. Like, I've tried to throw other parties that just, like, fell flat. These Frozen parties were, like, lit for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because I actually put effort into them. Anyway, so, you know, I'm going through, like, a really hard time. And the movie comes out the week of my birthday, which is, you know, why it's Frozen themed and everything. I'm going through it, like, really badly. And I'm listening to the soundtrack before I even see the movie. I'm listening to the soundtrack and the song Show Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Before I've seen the movie, I've already identified the actress, Rachel Wood. I know what character she's playing, so I know, like, what's happening in the story. And, like, I'm crying on the train.
Oh.
So I see this movie. Yes. Oh my God, Violet. She's literally Elsa's mother. Spoiler alert, everybody. Literally, she's Elsa's mother, who, if you've seen the first movie, you know she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But she comes back to tell Elsa, you are the one you've been waiting for all of your life. And, like, if this is the same cut where I've mentioned being in psychoanalysis, it doesn't get more psychoanalytical than that. It doesn't get more Freudian than that. Your mother comes to you to tell you you are the one you've been waiting for. Like Jacques Lacan couldn't if he wanted to.
God damn it. Oh my God.
So, of course, I see this movie, and it's a Jungian masterpiece, and everybody who hates it is wrong. The end. That's my hot take.
You heard it here first, folks. From the Margins podcast says Frozen 2 is a Jungian masterpiece.
This is a Frozen Stan blog.
This is a Frozen Stan blog. We're here for a lot of laughs. Anyway. Now, see, the thing that I really didn't understand about Frozen 2, I watched it a few weeks after it came out. I went by myself while I was outside. It was freezing cold in Denver. It was snowing to the point that I was completely trapped. I just took the light rail down to the movie theater and decided, you know what? I've got nothing better to do. I want to see it. It's all anybody was talking about, and I love the music. The real question that I don't understand is when Elsa's mother comes back, why did they make her into a Terminator? Like, it was a very bold decision to make her entirely metal. She started screaming about, like, trying to find Anna Connor, and it was a mess. Anyway, the point is, Frozen 2, I know that somebody else has already said this, but Frozen 2 is the novel, where Frozen 1 was the pamphlet. Frozen 1 was introducing the characters. Frozen 2 is telling you about the conflict happening in the world around them. And let me tell you, Disney made some bold choices, I will put it that way, and they addressed some topics I did not expect them to address.
Right. Like, it's still for kids, but it's very heavy kids content.
Yes, it is exclusively for heavy children.
It's like, geez, kids, could you lighten up?
That was Michelle Obama's entire stance. Like, her entire stance during her time as the first lady was getting kids to lighten up.
Oh my God.
But I saw so many heavy children in the audience that were just crying. I was one of them. I can say that. But yeah, they had a lot of heavy topics.
Oh yeah, I cried like 4 times, I think.
There was a single point where I started crying, and I don't think it stopped until about 20 minutes from the end. I think I actually left the theater with tear streaks. Never mind.
I mean, I've seen it twice since the first time, so 3 times total.
Wow.
And I cried so hard the first time, but I haven't cried any subsequent time. So I don't know, like, what the power was. I think it was more about the anticipation. Mm-hmm. Or maybe, like, I didn't know what the ending was going to be, but I knew what the story up until Anna's final song, like, I had a guess of what that was.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe knowing the ending takes away some of the emotional weight of the peril that our favorite sisters endure, but it's still very emotional and very powerful.
A good point.
I think I could still cry at the first one, though. Like, I think I could get even more invested in the first one because it's so laser focused, whereas the second one is a lot broader.
But I also like the broadness of the second one because, yeah, the first one's laser focused, but ultimately the conflict feels kind of shallow.
Yes.
Because I understand that it did not feel shallow when Frozen 1 came
Right.
out, but in perspective, Frozen 1 did not reach any level of seriousness that Frozen 2 did.
Yes, Frozen 2. I mean, so what I perceive in Frozen 2 is the writers had this draft, and you can almost feel where the producers, the financiers of the movie said, "You remember this is for kids, right? Like, could you lighten it
Yeah.
up?"
That's exactly right. I agree 100%.
So, for those of you who aren't familiar, they go into this enchanted forest and they find like two warring tribes who have been in stasis for 30 years. And there's almost no tension. Like, our heroes are there. You have the Northuldra on one side and the Arendelians on the other. And they're like facing off and it's kind of tense. And then Olaf delivers a 1 minute reenactment of the first movie, and then it's all laughs and chuckles, and it's almost like the hatchet is immediately buried between these two warring tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back and watched it again, I'm like, okay, there is like some other stuff that it takes for Elsa to convince the Northuldra to accept them in. It still happens very quickly and very easily, where you feel there should be like more than enough room for like organic conflict, and yet they introduce it almost as setting and just move on to other like theme work.
Right.
And I mean, to my taste, they focused on the things they should have focused on.
Agreed.
Like, do I actually care about the conflict between the Northuldra and the Arendelians? I mean, it's interesting, but like, I don't actually care. I only wish it was done better so that I could say the movie was better.
That's
I mean,
fair.
I really only care about Elsa, if I'm being honest. So, like, I got my Elsa content. And that's all I have to say on that.
Granted, I will say for definite, I also like Elsa more so as a character. She's more robust, her conflicts are more serious, and everything that she goes through feels more substantial. But they did give enough development to Anna to where she was worth, I don't want to say it like this, but she was worth paying attention to. Like, she had enough of a character arc in this movie and her relationship with Kristoff to where by the time she gets her big singing number toward the end, she has her moment, and she is every bit on the same pedestal as Elsa at one point.
Yeah, I mean, Anna was like the hero of the first movie.
She's the villain of the second one. Big surprise. No one saw it coming.
Okay, that is my hot take, is that, you know, a lot of people who watch the movie, they complain about how, no, they're only good when they're together. Elsa learned her lesson in the first movie to not push her away. Why is she pushing her away all movie? And what I see is that really Elsa has a calling, and Anna is holding her back the entire movie.
Right. That was exactly.
Like, every time Elsa calms a spirit, she's about to do something, and Anna like, after the salamander, Elsa goes to follow it, and Anna literally grabs her and pulls her back, and is like, no, don't leave me, I'm so codependent. And she grows out of it, of course. Anna has beautiful, amazing character development. But I also see that like neediness as an antagonistic force against Elsa. And by the end of it, a lot of people were upset that they are in different places at the end. That Elsa's in the forest and Anna's in the kingdom, or the queendom. But I liked it because you know that they're getting together every Friday to play charades. they're not like cut off from each other, but they're now able to live distinct different lives and not be all over each other all the time.
Right. That way it's very realistic. It gives both of them the space to grow as people, and it also it's an appropriate character arc for the characters, and it was not everything is at the end as it was at the beginning. The choices that happened throughout the movie actually had some long-term weight on the world of the movie.
Yes.
Do we have anything more we want to say about Frozen 2?
I want to say that Kristoff got completely shafted and that he had no compelling arc. We last see him at his lowest point when he's singing a song about being separated from Anna, and then goes on to have all of his character development off screen so that when he shows back up, he's like full, robust, perfect, sensitive man. And I'm like, okay, would love to have seen that. Actually, I think I'm quoting a YouTuber when I say that. I don't even think those are my original words. So I love the movie for Anna and Elsa. Everybody else only like adds comedy and fluff and setting and context. But great movie. The end. That was my Frozen 2.
Absolutely great movie. I think it will get an Oscar. I wouldn't put it as Best Picture, but no, and that's only because it's going against the Joker. If Joker had not come out, then I would possibly give it Best Picture.
You would say Frozen 2 was the best picture?
No,
like,
if
overall.
Joker had not come out.
But like in terms of every movie this year.
Of every movie I've seen, which is not all of them, mind you, but still, like, I haven't seen Parasite, and I've heard wonderful things about it, so I can't comment on its quality.
I have not seen Parasite either.
I need to. I've heard only good things, but in the interest of time, I think we need to go ahead and wrap it up and call this a first episode, actually.
All right, so episode 1. This is who we are, that's how we met, and these are our thoughts on Frozen 2.
Episode 1 is in the books. If you liked us at all, then please, God, for our own sake, please tell us. You can tell us in the form of subscribing, liking, commenting, anything. And I hate to be that YouTube person or that Spotify person, but, you know, we're just two people out here trying to do our best in the world, and you know what? If you see anything you like or heard anything you like, let us know. We'll actually probably respond because I am always doing something for this channel, and I will probably respond.
I love all of you. Kisses. Take care of yourselves.
You are all gorgeous, every single one of you, and by every single one, I mean the two of you that liked this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to vote. Bye.
Bye.